do you, as a professional, help someone like in their lives, like in your profession? How do you think you can actually change their lives in a better way?
Yes, so we have to get up and go around our day, whatever it is, and at different points of life, our day will look differently, whether you're a student, whether you're a young professional, whether you're a mature business person, whatever it is. Your day has a function and we have to step into that function. There are things that we have to do. So essentially, I work with people in a way that they can get on with the functioning of their life, their business, their relationship, their work, whatever it is, and start integrating elements of change at the same time. So quite often I'll work with people who have a successful life, but there's something else they want, but they don't have the time, the energy, the space, or the permission to follow the thing that they really want. So we start working out what that is, and I help them take aligned steps towards it whilst they're still living and functioning in the life that they're in. So that's the kind of support I offer.
Is this current stressful scenario, how is your expertise helping in need?
Essentially, where I come in to providing support for people is always in a situation where the stress is heightened. So for me, my skills are very transferable into a crisis or a situation like we're in with the pandemic. And essentially, so what I would do with somebody who's at a high point of stress, whatever the set of circumstances, is essentially the same. And that is bringing people in a secure way, a secure environment, a container that feels private and clear on its boundaries in terms of time and what we're going to do together. It's an allowance of space for people to stop where they are in some sense. So even though life is rolling, business is rolling, the demands are still there. What I'm essentially helping people do for themselves is create a regular space where they stop and unpick the puzzle of where they are, which is essentially how the buildup of stress comes in us. Is because we don't practice, certainly in Western society in particular, we don't practice those stops, those pause points, those consideration times, those surrender moments to what's true and what we might possibly be able to do about making things better, more improved, more comfortable, better quality, whatever it is we're trying to achieve. So essentially, it's very simple what I do. It's not easy. It's just very simple what I'm helping people doing, and that's come into the truth of where they are, figure out how they got there, how it looks like to be there, and how they want that to be different. And then, it's a commitment to taking those steps to putting what we learn into practice. So that's how my expertise comes into helping people at times of stress.
Great. Ma'am, now I will move on to the next one. How you think we change for good? What are the positive aspects of this change?
It's an opportunity to reconnect. So, we are in a time where we are forced into isolation in different ways. We are forced into a situation of lack where we don't feel like we have what we want, or we don't have the experience that we want. And ironically, when we're freer, for example, pre-COVID, it seems like you would think that we are more connected up to our truth, connected up to the people around us, connected up to what we want, connected up to how we behave. But the more freedom we have in that sense, the less sort of structure we have in our lives that's really, really conscious. Ironically, the more unconnected we can become, the easier it is to pass somebody by in the street and not take any notice. The easier it is to just go and get a coffee or a glass of wine or do something to escape the situation that we're in. So the opportunity that we have when we're facing change like this is that actually we are drawn into a situation where we have to find conscious ways to connect to our experience, to the world experience, to people in our lives that are suffering that we perhaps not normally have that level of contact with. We have to have real effort behind our ability to connect because we've been forced to isolate in lots of parts of our lives. Think of the effort people are having to make just to work together because they're not in the workplace. You know, so for me, the opportunity is everywhere to work on really consciously making much more effort to connect, to make connection in our lives. And to me, that's the positive that we could be missing is actually sitting here with us right now.
In which scenario, if people are, what kind of scenario in people are, and why should be they contacting you, like as a professional? How they make sure that they should contact you right now in this phase of the life, and why they should contact you in this phase of the life? Because people think like if we contact you, we have some sort of a problem. That's why we are contacting somebody. So is it necessary for somebody to have a problem and realizing that they have a problem and then they should contact you, or they should contact you in just a way like we should contact someone, some professional for some purpose? So can you explain it? Can you elaborate it?
Okay, let's look at it like this. So if we looked at ourselves as a car, right? So say you're quite a high performance car, or you're just you're a car of quality. If you own a car, you have a choice of how to manage the performance of that car. You can either service it regularly, you know, you can pay a lot of attention to it weekly, or you can just hope that it drives you where you want it to go on a consistent basis with paying it very little attention. And if you look at the analogy of life in that way, essentially, you know, we are machines. We are made up of lots of different aspects. We are systems. And paying attention to every part of our system on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a really concerted basis is what makes our engines run smoothly. So what happens when people run into major problems is that essentially there are some aspect of themselves that they have either been avoiding or just hoping that they could get away with not paying attention to. And just like a high performance car, it's not going to keep running for you unless you keep checking all the parts of it are supported to run for you, and for that whole engine to run together. All those parts of that system support each other to work. So that's where we have breakdowns. That's where we have mental or emotional breakdowns, or we get burnt out in our work, or we lose connection to our relationships and they start falling apart. Any of these things can happen if we aren't consistently and consciously working on how we are operating as a system. So obviously I do help people when they've met a crisis point, but I do also help people who are really aware that if they just put effort into running their systems well, they will keep working better, living better, relating better, and feeling better. So it is really beneficial if people can approach their life, business, and work and relationships in that way.
So what I think, like you are considering like as a human in every different aspect, a human life in every different aspect, that they should ask for your help even if they think that they're in trouble or not, they should regularly stay in contact with you for the sake of a professional guidance. Is it true?
It's a trusted, unbiased, outside perspective. So we can only see ourselves from certain angles at one time. We literally are unable to function and see ourselves in a 360-degree view. So to have somebody there who can holistically see how you're functioning professionally, personally, emotionally, psychologically, to be able to see that from every angle in an unbiased way and understand how your system works, because Atif, your system is made up in a bespoke way that's not the same as anyone else's. You probably think, feel, and understand in a slightly different way to somebody else. And even people close to you won't have that 360-degree view. In fact, the very people who are close to you, who love you, who respect you, who you employ or who you look after. It doesn't matter who it is. Just the fact that they are very close to you means that they cannot even see you in that 360-degree view, no matter how much they care. So you nor the people close to you can do that. It has to have somebody with a completely outside perspective and the skill to be able to understand what's happening inside and what you want to achieve on the outside, is to have that constant input. Let me tell you, this is how your thinking is sounding today. Is that how you want to feel and think? And help people understand the outcomes of their thinking and their behaviours so that they can make more considered choices how to think and behave and what choices to make. So it's really like having a consistent pit stop or somebody there who can see you in your entirety and help you see yourself in your entirety on a regular basis so that you understand the truth of how you're functioning and where that's taking you. Kind of support I offer.
Thank you, ma'am. That's the thing I really wanted from